Welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of the crew getting together talking about a victory on Sunday. We had our victory. We locked up the number 1 seed, gentlemen. We have something positive to talk about this week. Who wants to go first? Who's excited?
Man, hey, just let's just get a round of applause for the locking up that number 1 seed. You got a round of applause, Beto?
Yes, I do. Give me 1 second.
That part.
Damn, Beto out here being slower than a mouse.
Go ahead.
Come in hot.
All right, I'm going up first. All right. My thoughts about the game and just us locking up the number 1 seed. I mean, I think having the number 1 seed is really important for us because, man, we're banged up in a lot of spots that, some of these guys need that extra time, like a Eric Armstead, like a Christian McCaffrey now. So it's great to see that the 49ers get that number 1 seed, and now, the NFC games will be running through Levis Stadium. They will not have to be going on the road until, hopefully they get to the Super Bowl. But yeah, one guy that really stood out to me, and I know Deon kind of been hating on this guy a little bit because he's been hurt a lot, but man, Elijah Mitchell, I was excited to see how he looked when CMC went down. I thought he showed some really good things. He's looked his best, I think, since he's been hurt. So I think he could be a big piece, to be honest, in the playoffs. And great bounce back game from Brock Purdy. That's exactly what you need from Brock Purdy. I mean, no turnovers, and defensively, even Fred Warner said this like in his podcast too. They need to get turnovers. They're always trying to get 3 turnovers. Well, the Niners got 2, and what happened? They ended up winning. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I got to go ahead and give him
with
his
the show,
props
bro.
and say Elijah Mitchell, he looked good. He did. He looked pretty good. 17 carries, 80 yards. He did his thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, once again, for me, if you could continue to do that, sir, that'd be great. So 1 game for me isn't going to sell me on him again, but I can say that he did a great job while he was in there. Thing that stood out to me in this game was I love the way we were collapsing the pocket. Ken Law he's been looking great. Like that dude's had a full resurgence. You know what I'm saying? He's been looking actually absolutely amazing. This guy Logan Ryan didn't do too bad in instead of Jair Brown. So that was cool. We had another situation where we were able to put in, our backups in the 4th quarter, which is a great thing, and everything worked out, man. I mean, I just, I had to watch the game on replay because, of course, it wasn't local here because we were playing fucking Commanders, so ain't no way you're getting on TV playing them, especially when they suck that bad. I have to say the only thing that I'm wondering is Kyle going to sit everyone, and are we going to not sweep the NFC West? That's the big question, because if he does sit everyone, you know what I mean, it's going to be hard. I saw what Feliciano did at left guard. He's pretty good at like swing guard. You know what I'm saying? He played on left or right side. Had Burford in there. That worked out very well. You know what I'm saying? The great thing is we had, I think I reposted it on Twitter. We have, several guys over 1,000 yards in CMC, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle as far as receiving and rushing. Scrimmage yards and whatnot. So I think we just, came back, got a nice little win against these Commanders, and now we got to, go ahead and chill out at home and beat up on these lamb chops.
What about you, Christian?
I'm just happy we won. We got the 1st seed. The whole game was I'm glad we won. It felt like a get in and get out type game. So it's had some good, exciting plays here and there, but I'm just happy we won. I'm ready for the season to be over, playoffs to start. Let's go. I don't really care what happens next week. I could care less if we lose when we rest the starters. So let's just get on to the playoffs.
See, Brian, you want to add anything real quick?
I just want to say, freaking excited that we were able to lock down that 1 seed and have the playoffs run through us at Levi's. And Brock Purdy bounced back, looked phenomenal. And Brandon Ayuk had a freaking phenomenal game as well.
Yeah, they sure did. That pass from Brock Purdy when he was kind of got out of the pocket, made extended the play with his legs and able to direct Ayuk to the left and get him the ball. Something I wanted to touch on something that Christian mentioned a minute ago about he doesn't really care about next week, whether we rest or not, or blah, 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 whether we win or not. I understand we secured the number 1 seed. There's nothing that's going to move us from there. But I want to ask you, gentlemen, there's pros and cons to resting players. If we do rest players, keep in mind they're going to be pretty not touching the field for about 3 weeks. If we do rest players and allow them to get healthy, that can be a positive too. I want to ask you guys individually, should we rest whatever starters we can rest, particularly those that have a little bruises and bumps here and there for the 2 weeks, or should we play them a half? I want to get your guys' opinion and your feelings on this. Like I said, there's pros and cons to each of the decisions that Kyle's going to make. I want to get your thoughts. We'll start with you, Deon.
So for me, honestly, I would probably rest them. Or if I did play him, I'm playing for about a quarter. I understand exactly what you mean as far as that goes because, that football callus has to stay there. And your body has to continually feel like you're ready to play every single week. Some dudes do need just flat out rest. Like, hey, just sit this dude on the bench, let him chill. Like, I definitely would rest Nick Bosa. Even if we played some of our guys the first half, Bosa wouldn't see the field. He'd be looking at it from the sidelines. I have no reason to put him on the field. He knows what he's doing, and whenever he gets on the field, it's rare that you get rust out of him. You know what I'm saying? You find those types of guys, and if those are the dudes that really truthfully need the rest, they need to get those little nagging injuries to chill for a bit. That's guys who can go, you know what I'm saying, and are ready to go ahead, throw them in there for a little bit if they want, just get a little small thing. And to be honest with you, I mean, I don't care if we, take an L against the Rams because it doesn't stop us from having a number 1 seed. But then again, low key, the asshole in me just wants to make sure that we beat the shit out of the fucking Rams just because
You're not
it's
the
the
only
Rams.
one.
We've been beating on them for years. So, I agree with Christian's sentiments, but at the same time, like I said, the asshole in me says, "Fuck the Rams." I want to make sure that we make them lose and
Sweep
make
the
them cry.
division for 2 years in a row. Absolutely.
Yeah, and hopefully, screw their playoff chances as much as we can.
No,
Like that. That's the only
they're
thing.
in the same spot whether they win or lose. They're staying at 6.
Oh, okay.
So they're like us. They can rest their players as well.
So next week we could proverbially see a game of backups versus backups. There's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm 100% sure Matthew Stafford would love the fucking time off. I'm 100% sure Puka Nacua would love to go back to being the number 1 receiver and Tutu Atwell being the number 2 and Cooper Kupp getting the rest. Like, if that happens and we have a game of backups, hell, look, Sam, get your ass on the field and show me something.
Get Aaron Donald rest.
Yeah,
That
for
dude
real.
needs some rest too.
Like, go ahead and put Sam out there. Fuck it, man. No point for me to risk Brock Purdy getting injured. Nope, need this guy ready for the damn playoffs. And I don't think he needs anything else, man. He looked great. And the thing about this game that really made me happy was we balanced it. We were heavier on the run than we were on the pass. And that's how we win football games. This overthrowing pass and shit, you do that when you got to come from behind, but that's not your normal game plan to start. Kyle knows what his bread and butter is. Just stick to it. That's how you win games. But me personally, maybe a quarter, if that. But Nothing more than that. Other than that, I'm sitting them.
Yeah. What about you, media? What's your thoughts?
So I've also actually said this a little bit on Twitter too. But I think that the starters should play. I'm not saying a lot either. I'm saying like Dion, maybe a quarter. Um, it's just like I get these guys are professionals and all, and yeah, there's some guys that don't need to play like a Nick Bosa. I it's good that they're just resting CMC too because he is beat up. He's a guy that I'm not worried about whatsoever either. But I do think that it's important to still get some of these guys, I think, playing time just to make sure that that rust doesn't end up wearing off. Because, like you guys said, it's basically kind of like 3 weeks. So, I know it's been a small sample size, but I can kind of remember this from a few years ago where the Ravens did a very similar thing. And then going into their wild card game, like they were looking extremely rusty. And that's why they ended up losing. So I'm saying that the 49ers, I think, should play the certain starters a little bit, but it should mostly be a backups game.
I like that. I like that. What about you, Christian? Well, we already got with your part of it. Brandon, what's your thoughts on it? Should we rest everybody? Period. What I mean by everybody, obviously you can't rest the whole team, but somebody has to play. But we're talking about like the Fred Warners, the Greenlaws. Do they need to be out there? Mooney, does Mooney need to be out there? Does Debo need to be out there? You know what I mean? They already said that Christian is not going to play, so that's a good thing for him to keep working on his cab. But what are your thoughts, Brandon? What's up, Adam?
So for me, I'm gonna say, um, little man's getting crazy, but
Fucking dogs to the
no,
corn.
um, no, I say rest everybody, especially if the Rams doesn't affect their playoff position, and they're probably gonna be going with their bench warmers as well. You might as well do it as and get those weeks off because you notice somebody pointed this out, but notice how bad we needed the bye week for us to recuperate and bounce back, and we looked freaking phenomenal. We had a 6 game winning streak, right? So having the time off for our starters and especially CMC since he has a mild calf strain, that's going to help out a lot. So just let the backups play. Like Dion said, see what Sam has in his bag and go from there, and then we can move on and watch the playoffs.
Yeah, I like that take. Absolutely. You know that buy is so important, gentlemen, because as you know, we were starting. On those 3 game losing streak. Our defense looked a little tired. They were missing tackles, and then they got that much needed buy when they did, and then they kind of came back and they were refreshed and they started to steamroll over teams, and then you started seeing that fatigue come back into the defense, and this bye, particularly getting 2 weeks off. Everybody has said in their mamas that
Hey, Dina.
nobody wants to play a healthy 49er squad. The Niners are unbeatable if they're healthy. And this is an opportunity for them to absolutely allow players to rest. And I understand the rust and I understand the, this or that. But right now, what seems to be more important to us is rest, allowing these players to rehab and get better and do what they got to do and not injure any other players. I'm for not playing Brock. We know what Brock can do. Let's play the backup number 14, Sam Darnold. Let's see what he can do in case, God forbid, we ever need him. Hopefully we don't in the playoffs, but at least give him some work in there. It'll be interesting to see if the Rams don't play none of their players either. It'll be like the game of backups. Who has better backups for that game? I don't know what would be worse, that game or a preseason game, if that happens. But at the end of the day, let's get our guys rested and enjoy a wild card game. It seems like if everything goes as planned, it looks like it could be the Rams taking the Cowboys in the first game. I know this is a Niner show, but this is football. I want to get your honest thoughts, man. The Rams going into Dallas. Dallas hasn't lost at home, but Dallas is not the same team that people think they are. The Rams are playing hot. Sean McVay has them playing good. Do you guys think there might be an upset there in Dallas, or do you think
Uh,
Dallas is just too good?
but at this point, it's the Rams playing the Lions, not Dallas. Dallas would play whoever the 7th seed is.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. I meant to say the Lions. Do you think the Rams can go and beat the Lions? I got the Dallas Cowboys mixed up with there.
I would actually like to see that matchup too. Stafford versus Goff.
Their old teams.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting.
I think it'd be a pretty
what
good
would be
game.
interesting is what would be interesting is if Matthew Stafford went in there and got that W against his former team, the team that basically lined his pockets for his whole career. You know, so that'd be crazy, and then it'd be just the opposite. It's like the perfect scenario when you look at it, just due to the fact that the Lions have, Golf, and he can do the same thing. Hey, y'all traded me away. Y'all didn't want me, so cool. I'm here, and they like me. I'm good. I don't need y'all. I'm saying, fuck it. I'm finna get off in you. Pause. So I honestly think I honestly think that the Lions would win strictly based on the fact that it's different for them right now, man. Like, those dudes are really out there working hard. They doing everything that they can, man. They believe in right now. I think it'll be too hard for the Lions to take that L versus the Rams to go in there and get the W. It's a blow to them because they sucked for so long.
Yeah.
Even when Stafford was there. I don't know, was Stafford around with that 0-16 team?
I believe he was. I
I
think,
believe
yeah, he
was,
was.
right?
Yeah, so he
Yeah,
experienced
so
that.
man, that talk about painful, bro. Like, it's insanity. So
But they won all their preseason games, though. They were 4-0 in preseason.
and they wound up going into the regular season and looking
And
like hot shit.
0-16, yeah. That tells
The
you a lot about
So
preseason.
Lions
Lions
are
are gonna
5-2 at home.
the
And
Lions will
then
beat the Rams because then they're going to go back into Dallas and get a revenge game.
And
now
we're going
see,
to
the
talk
Rams
about that
are 4 and
Dallas and
4. The Rams
Lions
are
game.
4-4 away. So that don't bode well for them. They 50-50 on the road, so they may or may not win. I think this favors the Lions just based off the fact that they 5-2 at the house. So might as well I think the Lions can do it too. I really do.
Yeah.
They,
I think the
they're
Lions are going to be hungry too because of the mediocrity they've had, over the
yeah.
years. I think they're gonna, really want to show something to their fans. And
It's going to be Niners Lions in the NFC Championship game.
who do we probably play? Like,
Eagles.
do we kind of first round though?
We're playing Philly unless Philly loses to Tampa
Tampa.
Bay.
Okay.
So we
Yeah,
might play
because
Hey,
Philly
I
will
Tampa.
be
would say with the
Philly
way
will be
Philly
the
looking right
lowest.
now, I wouldn't put it past them to take that L to Tampa Bay. They have been looking bad, and from what I'm seeing and just everything that we've been talking about in the chat, man, it looked like Sirianni had lost that locker room, and them dudes ain't playing for him no more, man, and that's not going to work. You can't have a team with all that firepower just looking like hot shit on the stick for 5 fucking weeks straight. Y'all got one win, and y'all barely got that one. That
Yep.
wasn't a blowout. That wasn't dominance. It was like, oh, okay, we got by. And you've been losing to shit teams. You know what I'm saying? So
You can tell AJ Brown's disgusted with what's happening
yeah,
there. He didn't even talk to the
they
media,
don't,
bro.
they don't like what's going on there. And I'm telling you right now, if Sirianni is the one that got to go, you better get the hell up out
Oh,
of there,
he's
man. Way too much money invested in these cats, and it's
I
too
saw
solid
something.
of a team
Too
to
much
tear
talent
apart.
not to be able to manage him right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
saw something like Riddick tried to ask Sirianni what was going on, and he just yelled at
yeah.
him and told him to get on
And
the
then
field. And
Devontae Smith, he
yeah,
came up and said, man, he was just trying to ask you a question. And he just walked away from him. I'm like, okay, look, bro, I get it. There's high stress levels. We've been losing. It hasn't been looking good, but that doesn't mean that you fall apart. You're supposed to be the leader.
Yeah.
Leader can't be here falling apart. That's like me being, hypothetically speaking, me
What's up,
being
twin?
the leader of the team. And next thing you know, here I am, and they looking at me to go go out there and go hard every day. And I'm like, I just don't feel like it today. The more I do that, what they gonna do? They gonna take off a few games too. They gonna take off a few plays. It's gonna be different things that happen. So he got to get that team right. But I mean, man, if we play the Eagles, I ain't worried about them, bro. They looking so bad that there's nothing they can do. And I mean, hell, Tampa Bay might get them. You know, you never know. That might be that one game that Christian's second favorite quarterback shows up and balls out.
We're gonna play
Real
either
quick,
Tampa
Christian.
Bay, the Saints. We're gonna either play. Hold on, we're gonna play Tampa Bay, the Saints, or
Not Atlanta, that's for sure.
we'll play either Tampa Bay, New Orleans, or
Saints.
Philly. Philly, because the
Hey,
The
Saints
Saints are
might still be able to win their. They might still be able to
The
win their
Saints
division.
aren't
There's still a
in yet.
chance.
They have a chance though to be in, I believe.
Oh well, yeah. Do they?
I
Is
think
the
Yeah,
is,
they're
I think
both
the
8-8.
the Bucks
is the Saints
the
and the
Bucks win
Bucks?
and they're
They
in.
they play
I
next week.
I
Yep.
think if the Bucks win, they're in.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, guys,
The
before
Saints just
we
beat the
proceed,
Bucks.
let's go ahead and acknowledge a lot of the people. We have a full house in the chat. We'll continue on in a minute, but I do want to acknowledge those in the chat. I'm going to start backwards. I'm going to start acknowledging James is in the house. What's up, James? We got 49er Throwback in the house. What's up? What's up? We got Niners Eddie in the house. We got Christian Carver in the house. We got Rod in the house. We got Terradome. We got the
TJ in the
Twin
building.
Empire in the house. What's up, Twin? We got OYG in the house. Who else do we got in here? Making sure I don't leave nobody behind. We got Big Papa in the house. What's up, Big Papa? We got the Big All Show in the house. We have Miss Dina Harvey in the house. We got Daniel Burry Sports. We got Mia in the house. We got Adam in the house. What's up, Adam? Who else do we got in here? To make sure I don't
Somebody
leave
named
nobody
Nighthawk
behind.
Afterburner.
Nighthawk Afterburner, Eddie Woods, Daniel Cantu. We got Don Dotson in the house. We got, what else do we have in here? Miss Deb in the house. How you doing, Miss Deb?
Oh yeah, Miss Debbie.
Miss Debbie is in the house repping. We got Jimmy Perez. We had Melissa in the house. What's up, Melissa? So I just wanted to acknowledge each and every one of you, give you a hand of applause for popping in. You guys are the MVP of this show. All right, guys, you guys continue. I just wanted to acknowledge these lovely folks in the chat.
Of course, man. We got to. That's the whole point of it.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. If anything, man, if Beto, if you can find a little playoff bracket, man, let's take a look at that.
Yeah,
Because we already know what we doing. We like we're set.
Yes,
We
sir.
sit our guys. We're
Yeah.
all cool with it. If they play for a little bit, we're cool with that as well. We just want to make sure that anybody who truthfully needs rest gets that rest, and we need to just be able to let these dudes, take that time. And I mean, what happened? Ambry Thomas got a guy have surgery on his hand. He's already possibly back for the playoffs.
Yep.
Just because
And Ray
Ambry Thomas-
McLeod has cleared to come back too.
Now we need.
I
him
wanted
on
to
punt.
ask you guys a real
I like
quick
Debo on
question.
kick return. I like Debo on kick returns. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Ray on kick returns. I like Debo, but on punts we need Ray. I'm sorry. I like Ronnie Bell. I like him, but he is just not that. Nope. No, you're not. Something's not clicking yet, son. You gotta wait a little bit. Get it right. Takes time.
I had a question for you guys real quick. Are you guys concerned about Jennings at all? Because he has that concussion, and I mean, he was out these last two games.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's really going on, man. Because when a concussion lingers like that, that's a little scary. Not a good thing at all. Bless you, Christian.
Thank you.
But yeah, that kind of scares me. And I like JJ, man. That dude he's the
Third
guy that we
down.
have that he's our Draymond Green, bro. Without beating the hell out of everybody. Low key, like he is, because he's our enforcer. Because you mess with us and 15 is on the field, he coming right at you. But then at the same time, he knows how to get under your skin to a point where you get frustrated and you don't know what's going on, and you do something stupid, and next thing you know, it's 15 yards, and he just standing there like this.
he'll be good to go for the playoff game. So
I think he will. Yeah, I think they're gonna just leave him out and just say, "Hey, don't even worry about
Mhm.
playing. Just when the playoffs come, we'll get you back out there, baby. We'll open your practice window and get you through whatever you got to get you through."
we should be pretty reasonably healthy to start the playoffs. And I think our first game in the divisional round, whoever we play, I don't think it's going to be too much of a challenge. Which just the NFC Championship,
Yeah.
whoever we get, that's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I ain't even going front. Terradome, that's actually a really good good thing there, man. He said he got to change that number, man. 10 ain't going to win on the bump returns. Hell, 10 barely did much when that motherfucker was here, but we ain't going to start talking about him. Shit, he
Dude, I've
probably
seen
going to be a
so
free
many
agent
people
next
say
year.
that.
He probably going to be a free agent next year with the way they going and with the Raiders. Yeah, they ain't keeping him.
Yeah.
Let's see
Should have
here.
give Kyle Williams flashbacks and give Jimmy Garoppolo flashbacks. Yeah. 10 is just, I'm good.
I was able to find the bracket if you guys want to pull it up.
Did you? I was looking for it, but I'm trying to get everybody's
Okay, cool.
things on the board as well. What's up, Summit? Welcome to the show, buddy. Everybody is concerned about Jennings. I think Jennings as a blocker, people kind of
Oh, monster.
underestimate what he can do as a blocker, man. I know he's not your
100%.
Debo or your Brandon Ayuk, but what he does to help the run game is unnoticed a lot of times, and people don't realize how important that is to this offense.
And he's clutch on third down.
Yep,
Super
I think we
clutch.
missed them against the Ravens, but that's just me. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just me. Okay, that's the one I found. Okay, perfect. That's the one that I had found. So
You lose
we'll
some
go.
of that physicality on offense, and you don't have Jennings. And I think he would have intimidated the Ravens linebackers a little bit and their safeties if he had been in the game.
Yeah, cause he ain't no bitch. Jennings is ready. You know, he's like, y'all want to play hardball? We play hardball too. I tell you this, I did the one thing that I loved in that game from the Ravens was Debo just bounced off a homeboy and kept pushing. Like he thought it
Mm-hmm.
was over. He just gave him a crack, and it was like at that point, that's that one moment where you hit a guy with everything you got, and that motherfucker just looks at you like that didn't. He didn't even feel shit. It's like, okay, now I got to switch up the damn game plan. This motherfucker took my best shot and figure out the next step with this bastard. This ain't gonna work. And that's what
The Ravens
Debo
aren't.
proved there in that moment.
If we play the Ravens in the Super Bowl, they're not going to know what to do with playoff Debo. Let's just put it that way. That man goes on
Play
a whole
who?
nother level. Playoff Debo, dude. He's a whole
No,
different
I'm saying
animal in the
play.
playoffs.
You're saying play the Rams in the playoffs?
No, the Ravens
No,
in the.
no, no. He's saying the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
If we
They
played
don't
the
want to play
Ravens in the Super
Debo because
Bowl, they don't want no part of playoff Debo.
Oh yeah, all these dudes they become different animals once that happens. And
I'm,
honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think Trent Williams is contemplating retirement, man. And I think he's ready to just say, you know what, I'm gonna give everything I got. If I got to go out there with half a leg, one eye, and three toes on the other foot, I'm getting out there to play, and I'm gonna do whatever I can. You know,
Yep.
I just think it's gonna work, man. It's gonna be a real hard sell, but it's gonna work. I mean, hell, honestly, the one thing I can say is it's nice that the Ravens are doing what they're doing, but until I see it in the playoffs, none of that matters. Because
Yep.
Lamar, he doesn't win in the playoffs. That's a one
Exactly.
knock against him. You have all that running ability. You have this. You have that. You can throw the ball. You do all this. But when the playoffs come around, you ain't worth shit. One of the people that's considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time was actually really bad in the playoffs, and that's Peyton Manning. His playoff numbers are not great.
so we're
Yeah,
talking
you
Lamar
got to think
Jackson.
about it. Yeah, but I think no. I mean, he's got more wins than way more wins than Lamar. I mean,
No,
you
I'm
were at
saying
least getting.
Lamar doesn't have the best track record in the playoffs either.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's not great on it. You know, you good over there, Beto?
Give me
I
one
think the
second,
Ravens.
bro.
I think
I'm
if the
always.
Ravens play
I,
the, I think I think if the Ravens play the Browns in the playoffs, the Browns will beat them.
I'm gonna do something different.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I would love that matchup so they could beat the shit out of each other. So by the time they get to us,
I
they'd
will
already
laugh.
popped each
I
other
will,
up. I don't
I will laugh
care.
my ass off seeing Joe
My pick right
Flacco,
now is hey my
old ass Flacco beat Lamar, bro. That'd
my
be
my
Dude,
pick
I'd
right
be
hilarious.
now
so
is
happy though to be able to see them in the playoffs then, because then we could get our revenge back from Joe Flacco.
hey my my pick for the Super Bowl right now is as of now is Niners Browns. The
Hmm.
Browns have a good defense and they have probably the best defensive backfield right now. And
Yes.
Flacco putting up 3 touchdowns, 300 plus yards a game. Yeah, I'd pick the Browns coming out of the AFC right now. They're the most complete team and playing the best ball. I'd say.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, because
You could
every
say
other
the
team,
Ravens are
man,
right.
it's
You can say the Ravens are too, but I think that being a divisional game and the Ravens or the Browns knowing how to play Lamar, I like the Browns' chance in that.
mm-hmm.
All right, let me show you guys. Let
I
me put
agree.
on the bracket real quick. Let's see here. All right, can you
Okay.
guys see the
So,
bracket?
Yep.
yep.
All right, there it is. I'm not gonna worry what the
All
camera
right.
does.
So it's enough of us, man. Let's pick them. We're gonna start with the AFC. Who is winning between Jacksonville and Cleveland? Media.
I am gonna take the Cleveland Browns just because I'm not sold on the Jags, man. Like, they just seem kind of like a weird team. They don't really feel dominant as much. I feel like they're just barely getting by, so I'm taking the
Yes, have no
Browns.
chance.
Okay. So I'm gonna get this to you, Christian. Kansas City and Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Mm.
Damn. No hesitation. I like it.
Buffalo
Just
might not
straight to
even
the
make it
point.
in, bro.
It
Yeah, they're gonna
well,
make it in.
it
Dude,
it
the
it, it
Dolphins are beat
happens.
to shit. They're gonna beat them. The
Yeah.
Dolphins are beat up.
Yeah. So Dolphins or Indy beat ups.
Um. Ooh. I kind of want to go with the upset, but I'm gonna go with the realistic pick and say Miami.
Okay. Beto, who's got Tampa Bay and Philly?
Oh man, um, Philadelphia, like you said earlier, bro. It's hard to go with Philly because their defense is trash. Their defense is not the same. We knew they were suspect from the beginning of the season, but they were winning some close games. They were getting lucky, and they finally got destroyed and broken by the Niners when the Niners went in there and just broke their spirit. They haven't been the same since. Tampa just lost to New Orleans at home. You don't know what you're getting with Mayfield. What kind of game is
Yeah.
he bringing? That's going to be interesting. Is the offense of the Eagles going to show up? This is a hard one, but I think the Eagles and their coach are going to be desperate, and I'm going to give it to the Eagles.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll take this one, Detroit and the Rams. Now, I am not stating this, people, just because I don't like the Rams. I'm actually stating this because I think Detroit is a better team. So I'm going to take Detroit there. They're better at home. The Rams aren't good on the road. They're 50-50, so you never know if they're really going to win. And to be honest with you, I'm sorry, Detroit just got the defense is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? They got some solid
Yep.
tackles up there up front, solid ends, and I think not DeAndre Swift. What is that kid's name? The damn running back. I can't remember it right now. He's pretty
Gibbs.
good.
Gibbs?
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty good. And then
Rookie of the
telling you,
year.
man, I'm telling you, I think Jared Goff gets his revenge. And he says, you know what, y'all threw me out like trash, and I'll put you out the playoffs. Go sit the fuck down somewhere. So that's
I
for me.
like
And
it.
then Dallas and Green Bay. What say you, Christian?
Oh, Dallas. Green Bay has no defense. They're not going to be able to stop Dallas's offense. Like
There you
Green Bay
go.
might be able to move the ball a little bit on offense, but yeah, they can't. They have no defense. They won't be able to stop Dallas because their defense is terrible.
Okay, so we're gonna go right back to you, media. Baltimore and Cleveland.
Mhm.
That's who we pick. Who comes out of that game on top to go to the AFC Championship?
Mm, this is a tough one because in my mind, I'm like, I feel like Baltimore has to, Lamar Jackson has to
That game,
break
that's
that.
not Buffalo. Buffalo would play Baltimore. They're the lower seed.
Oh, you're correct. I do apologize.
So it'd be Buffalo versus Baltimore.
Well, did
If
yeah, it would
that,
be. Yeah, because they're
okay,
six. Yeah,
if that's the case, I know Buffalo's been heating up too.
that's a
Um,
battle. Two solid defenses.
but two really good defenses. It's gonna be close, but I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then B Dubs. We would have then
Cleveland,
Cleveland
Miami.
versus Miami. Ooh, who's taking
Ooh,
that?
Ooh,
That's ooh,
that's a
Joe
good one.
Flacco. Can he do
good one.
it?
Can he pull it
I'll
off?
say
Flacco.
I'm gonna take Cleveland.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna
not a
take
bad
Cleveland.
take there, Brandon. That's a good take because Cleveland's kind of like the Ravens minus
Yeah,
Lamar.
and
Yeah,
also
pretty much.
too, Miami is getting hit with hella injuries right now
And
too.
they lost their defensive defender for the year almost like to what's his name? Grab or Chubb?
Oh yeah, Bradley Chubb.
yeah,
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 he
he's
tore
yeah.
out
his
for the year.
ACL.
Yeah,
So
I didn't mean to. I
He's
didn't
out
need
for
to butcher
he's
his
out for
name.
this coming year too. So
yep. And then I heard Xavier Howard's also hurt today. Apparently,
Yeah,
oh my
Miami's
God.
going in the wrong direction. Uh,
Yeah.
as it is, they never really played tough teams. Their wins are kind of suspect. Who they played. This is an interesting thing about records, right? You get these teams with these high records, but you got to look at who they played, their matchups, and what they're good at and what they're not. And in these playoff games, Miami would be naturally to say Miami with that offense they have, but that defense is not that good. And now they lose one of their top pass rushers. And Joe Flacco is like he's drinking water from the fountain of youth or
Oh, the
something.
youth. Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing some ball. He don't even have to play the way he's been playing. As long as he plays decent,
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland's going to be tough to beat over there on that side of the AFC. So it's going to be interesting to see this playoffs play out for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Beto, take it away, man. Us in Philly. We already know where we're going with that one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the Niners already broke him. It's
Oh,
like
wait a minute, my bad. Oh yeah, Philly, because yeah, we said Philly would
yeah.
win.
Philly beating Tampa.
Philly.
So Philly got broken, got their hearts taken out of them. We're the bullies, and I mean no offense to those that ever been bullied before or not, but the Niners are bullies, and when you beat somebody up, you put doubt. You put doubt in their heart. They're like, they might think they can beat you, but since you beat them up pretty bad, there's always going to be that doubt. And I think that's going to work against the Eagles. And I think the Eagles are going to be riding an emotional high on beating Tampa in Tampa. They're just going to get destroyed by the Niners at home moving
So you're saying
forward,
we
too.
get Nick Sirianni fired?
We either get us fired or his wife slapped, one of the two.
All right, man. So I'm gonna take this on. We got Detroit versus Dallas. I will tell you this: we
Ooh.
automatically. I gotta go.
Now it's going to
Dallas
be
at
in Dallas,
home.
not in Detroit now.
It is in Dallas.
And Dallas has
Probably gonna
won
take
16 in
Detroit.
a row. Or
The Lions
think.
just beat them in Dallas. The
I
Lions
think.
just
Yeah, I was
beat them.
about
I
to say.
mean, it didn't count as a win, but the Lions just beat them.
I
that was
think.
in Detroit
No, it wasn't. It was in Dallas.
when they lost by that call by the
That
ref.
was in Dallas. That
No,
was in
it
Dallas.
wasn't. It was in
That's why
Detroit.
they honored Jimmy Johnson in Dallas, not in Detroit.
It
No,
was
yeah,
in
they did.
Detroit. I know. I'm messing with the guy with the haircut. Leave me alone.
What are you talking about? Alex
Actually,
Smith over there?
actually, when he said Emmitt Smith and the honor, I'm like, oh shit, I'm wrong. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Give it to the white man.
This guy.
this. Hey, we got a bunch of people in here, man, fired up in the
Yeah, we
chat.
got
Chat's
35.
going off. We got a lot of viewers tonight. We just
we
want
got
to
hella.
acknowledge you guys. You guys are awesome. Charmin, man, if you guys have any questions, Charmin, we're talking about the bracket. We're going to get to the Super Bowl in a minute. I just want to say that Deon is doing an awesome job with the bracket, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Of course, man. That's what we're doing. I'm just trying to make sure that we take a look at it. So we're gonna flip back over, man. Now we got AFC championship game here of Baltimore and Cleveland. So
Ooh.
with that being said, and this is the perfect person to ask this, Christian. You have to call that.
Yeah, I'm taking Cleveland. I mean, you got a divisional game. You have the better defense, I would say, with Cleveland. They've been the number one defense pretty much all year. They probably have the best
Mm-hmm.
defensive backfield in the NFL. Their corners are really good. Miles Garrett. I think that's the one team that knows how to beat Lamar because they've already done it this year. So yeah, I'm going to take the Browns on that one just because Baltimore's been playing great, but I mean a divisional game in the AFC Championship against the best defense, and you have to hope Lamar can stay in the pocket and be accurate the whole time, which I don't think is going to happen. So I'm going to pick Cleveland.
Booyah!
So we already know that this Super Bowl basically would come down to Cleveland and San Francisco. And we all know what happened last time we played Cleveland. We almost got them, but they made our offensive line look like shit.
Mooney's revenge.
But yeah, I think that would be the Super Bowl. I ain't even gonna call the Super Bowl right now. I'm just gonna say that's what it was. That's what it would be. I just would say that. But yeah, man,
Dude,
that would be some.
Playing Flacco now benefits us because he's old and can't move.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to him. We're gonna get to him.
Oh yeah, he's going nowhere. Yeah, he ain't moving. He ain't doing nothing. He gonna be a statue, and we gonna get his ass. And
Yeah.
the one thing about Flacco is Flacco's tall, but that could be a disadvantage when you're trying to let go of that ball.
And we'll
Because if your
be
arm-
playing indoors, not outside in the rain and that crappy weather in Cleveland. We'll be playing in Vegas indoors, so that's a plus too.
Yeah, so we ain't got to worry about that. But that'd be great, man. We can make it to the Super Bowl. It's in Vegas. I'll actually get to go and be about.
Real quick, guys, let's just keep it 100%. You guys honestly think that we have a real chance to make it to the Super Bowl? 2019, I want to ask this real quick. 2019, we made it. We had home field advantage as we do in 2023. We went to the Super Bowl, didn't kind of get the result that we wanted. I want to ask you guys, and I want to get fired up right now. Which team is better? The 2019 Super Bowl team or this team that we have this year, and why? Anyone?
I'm gonna say this team.
Well, think about it. That team in 2019 was the defense. The defense was absolutely destructively dominant. And this team is an absolute freaking just insane
Nightmare on offense.
They can put up, they can put up 40 points like that if you with a blink of an eye. So,
Well, 2019 we didn't have Trent, we didn't have a Uke, and then we didn't have
We have CMC.
Christian McCaffrey. Yeah,
yeah, I'd say this team just because the defense can still hold teams to under 20 and this offense can put up 40. Where the defense was always going to hold teams to low scoring in 2019, but we never knew if the offense was going to put up points because Jimmy Garoppolo is straight ass.
we know we can run the ball, but passing, absolutely not. I mean, if Purdy can do what he did against the Commanders, the way he extended the play by avoiding the sack and leading Ayuk for that touchdown, for the last touchdown, and to
Number
put it-
10 would never.
No,
Had we been able, if we had Purdy when we were running the ball the way we were in 2019, and we were running the ball that well, and you couldn't get a pass
We
rush,
would have won.
oh, Purdy would have sliced up the fucking Kansas City.
well, he wouldn't have missed. What's his
play
name?
action.
The receiver. What's the name of the receiver?
Oh,
In the Super Bowl?
Sanders.
Wouldn't have never been
Emmanuel
in that,
Sanders.
Emmanuel
that game.
Sanders.
that game never would have been close though. We would
That
have put up
play,
40
yeah,
points.
that play wouldn't have happened because it's such a big
I kinda-
dimension between Brock and you know. Let me ask you guys real quick this as well. Are you guys sick and tired of hearing this damn a notion of Brock is a game manager? Is this
It
idiotic
is.
now?
Look, I'll
I'm
say
tired of
this.
that and being like, oh, he's a system quarterback. Like, come on, he ain't no system quarterback, bro.
He's the
At the
only
end of
I
the
see
day,
him play, every time I
Preaching,
see
at
him
the end of
play,
the day,
I feel like
if
he's
you
going
put
above the system because he's able to extend the plays. He's able to. He doesn't need to rely on Kyle just because he doesn't need the play call to be perfect in order to execute things.
yeah, I think it's honestly just a situation for Brock for us to be able to go ahead and just let it go. It is what it is. The guy goes
Yeah.
out, he plays football, he wins fucking games. Like, don't be mad at him because he doesn't do it the way you want him to do it.
Come on,
Like, don't
Dion.
be mad at him for not having for having weapons on offense. Don't be upset and pissed off because he did this and he did that. And I'll give Cam Newton, a little bit of a shout out on this. He would do something with nothing, but that was because he was built like a fucking linebacker playing quarterback. You know how easy it is to do that. You know how many hits you can actually take. But what
Yep.
happened to Cam Newton later on in his career? All them hits, all that beating that you put on your body, it weighed down on you. Arm wasn't the same. There were things that started to happen. So while you want to call him a game manager and all this other stuff, at the end of the day, that young man is doing what he has with the God given ability that he has, along with the fact that he is out there shredding up defenses in the NFL and doing what he can to make sure that his teammates, have dubs at the end of the day. For him to be able to extend that play like that is amazing, and it's great that he can point him over there and the next thing you know, boom, that's just a standstill, easy TD. But Brock Purdy being a game manager, it is what the fuck it is. You call him whatever you want. You know what you can't call him? Late for a win on Sundays.
Come on,
Because he
brother.
seems to get those fairly often. You
Hey,
like
Booyah!
he's Purdy's the only underdog story people seem to not want to get behind. Like, if we
yeah.
go and win this Super Bowl, this is like straight up a movie. Not only was he Mr. Irrelevant, he had his elbow torn in half in last year's NFC
Mhm.
Championship game when he probably could have been the first rookie ever to win a Super Bowl. Then he
Oh, I'm
comes back the
telling you,
next year
he's
after
literally
surgery to win a Super Bowl. Like, dude, that's like a
like,
movie straight up.
and that all can be fit into what, an hour and 32 hours.
Dude,
Good,
they
good,
need to
good.
make a
Right quick.
documentary about
You
Brock
squeeze that
Purdy,
right on
man.
into that small
Dude,
period of time, and everything.
hey,
Just you get that dude being
Speed.
you probably get the first 15 minutes of him being high school heading into college, and you make sure you touch on the fact that he had the opportunity to go to Alabama, but he chose not to. Like you could condense all of that into a movie, bro, and it would. I'm telling you, it would sell. It's the story of a true underdog. And then at the same time, you throw in the fact that this is a God fearing man, and that's what he lives on. He lives on his faith. He's not about to, dial that back for the next person. Come on, man. You call him
let's
whatever you want. Game manage this, game manage that. At the end of the day, he manages to win fucking games.
Let's
So
go.
I don't
yeah.
care what you call
Let's not forget that he broke the single season record in franchise history of the most passing yards.
him.
He's up there with Steve Young and Jeff Garcia's, and we know that Jeff Garcia was not a bad quarterback. I mean, he's doing things that Alex Smith didn't do, that Kaepernick didn't do, and I'm not putting shade on them, but this guy is getting the ball out there. He's quick decision maker. He reacts, and he doesn't let the game get too big for him. He had a bad game against the Ravens, and a lot of people were starting to doubt him because of this game, which people forget. Now, we won the game. This is why people forget this, but we all know about the catch, right? Dwight Clark, the catch. It's down in history. But what people forget that Joe Montana had thrown 3 interceptions in that game. But because we
And
won
then the
that
way,
game,
and if you watch that play, that almost looks like he didn't necessarily know if that was going to work.
no, I think he was
Yeah,
throwing
he
it
did.
away.
They practice it.
I
They
think he was trying
practiced
to throw
it.
it away, but Dwight Clark came out of no fucking where and was like, "Nah, that's all right. I'll take that."
Yeah.
Dwight Clark said they practiced it, and he told Joe to put it up there, and he'll go get it.
And which
Yep.
he did. So people don't realize that, and when you reference Brock Purdy to Joe Montana, see, I grew up watching the teams in '77. I watched the team before Joe Montana, before Bill Walsh. I seen the ups and downs. So when people, I can't speak for others, but when I reference Brock's
John Brody.
ability to Joe Montana, I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he's going to win 4 Super Bowls. People go to the extreme too fast. What I'm saying is Joe Montana, before he became who he was and is, and everybody loves and respects, he went through his trials and tribulations. He went through his mistakes, but he showed us back then, hey, this guy could be good. Now, the difference is Montana, he got drafted in the 3rd round, not in the 7th round. I guarantee, guys, if Brock Purdy would have been taken in the 2nd or 1st round, this whole argument about he's assistant quarterback would have not been discussed. It would have been this guy's elite.
Facts.
Just because he's taken in the 7th round, automatic everybody, and people hate to be wrong. Those so-called experts do not want to take heat and acknowledge they were wrong. So they will continue to shit on Brock and hoping that Brock breaks down so they don't have to admit that they're wrong. Those that are smart and those that they care about their credibility, they admit it. I was wrong about Brock, and Brock is doing it, and this is why people still follow them. But others like Wright, whatever his name is, and others that do
Nick
not
Wright.
want to accept responsibility because they want to be right are just a bunch of ABs that don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that is
I
the
mean,
type
My
of
at the
also
guy.
end of the
thing
day,
is
That,
with Brock Purdy
hold
is
on.
when I watch the kid, like he is just out there having fun, man. He just looks so natural doing that, and that's just what I absolutely love to see
All,
from him because he's not
all
stressing
these
even if he turns the ball over and has a bad game.
all these guys that shit on Purdy are the same guys that sit there and protect Mahomes like he's some untouchable god and is incapable of throwing a
Mm-hmm.
bad pass. Like everybody's eating up fucking Montez Valdez-Scantling for that drop, and it's like you got to catch it because you had it. It was in your hands, but that was a shit throw. You threw it behind him on his back hip as he's running the other way. All you have to do is throw it in front of him. He catches it and he probably takes it for a touchdown. But let's not say that freaking Mahomes threw an inaccurate, shitty pass and put it
Yep.
all on the receiver. But he's an untouchable god who can't do anything but make great plays. It's fucking ridiculous. Like I swear, dude, that everybody acts like he's the greatest thing ever, so he's incapable of doing anything bad. But
The
then
same
I'll
thing
you
say
have
goes
a
with
this.
guy
Dak.
who's
People think that Dak is the
outplaying
greatest
his.
quarterback, and he keeps screwing
Yeah,
up.
you have a guy who's outplaying his draft status, and it's just shit on him, shit on him, shit on him. But as soon as like the guy who everybody loves, who's everybody's darling, plays like shit, well, we're gonna blame the receivers because it's not his fault that he's throwing balls that are
Yeah.
inaccurate. Throwing it behind
Yeah.
receivers. It's
I
just
will say
ridiculous.
this
Like
though. I
he's
did
not
I did
untouchable.
tell
I'm
people
sorry.
I did tell people that Eric Bieniemy meant something to that team, and he was the guy that held everyone accountable. Now that he's
He's the
not here,
discipline.
ain't nobody holding him accountable because
They lack
Andy Reid
discipline.
ain't that dude.
That's a good point,
He's a player
Dion.
coach. So it's like you have to have that person, and that's what we were screaming about some years ago, just as fans. And the 49ers locker room would be like, "Oh, well, we don't need that, and we don't do this, or we don't do that, and we don't need a rah-rah guy and all the other shit. Nobody needs to yell at us and all that." Everybody was being quiet and coy. I think behind closed doors, they do get ripped a brand new asshole, but they're just smart enough to keep it behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when they said that, and then we lost a couple of games, and magically Jimmy Ward and Fred Warner decided to call a players only meeting. So you mean to tell me there wasn't no rah rah in there? You mean to tell
Hold
me it
on.
was all rainbows and fucking rabbits? No, it
Yeah.
Kyle
wasn't.
is
There
Mike.
was it was
Kyle.
a hard
Kyle.
look in the fucking mirror, and everybody needs to
Kyle's
know what
still
they
Mike
needed to do.
Shanahan's son. Trust me. There's accountability. Kyle's still Mike Shanahan's son. He has that other side of him that Mike had too. Mike's quiet.
My
Mike's
here's
quiet. He had that other
my only,
side
my
though.
only thing. No, but one thing I will tell you is you heard stories about Mike. You did.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't.
true.
You never heard those stories about Kyle. I'll tell you that. I'll say this. Maybe Kyle does do it, and we don't see it, and that's fine. But to be honest with you, I think he lets his players hold themselves accountable rather than
Well,
him being the guy to
He's one of
enforce
the
it because it just I don't know, just the way that he coaches, it doesn't seem to me
He
like
likes
that.
to be a player's coach instead of a coach
he's
coach.
he's the
Yeah,
utmost
a
self.
guy who has favorites can't be trying to hold motherfuckers
You can
accountable.
see the immaturity in Kyle. I mean, you can see when he comes to
And nothing
personnel.
against him. His way, whatever he's doing is working. I ain't mad at him.
No,
If
of
it works,
course.
it works. It's cool.
But he is
But my
stubborn.
thing is, when you have favorites, bro, and you get stubborn at times, that you can't be trying to hold people accountable because you ain't even able to hold yourself accountable. You have to be able to look in the mirror and understand your flaws and the things that you can and can't do, versus you trying to hold another person accountable, but you can't even do that for yourself. Like
Dion, to
it
to
just
your point, real
Guys,
quick, who did they? How many yards rushing did Elijah Mitchell have?
70 or 80. I think
80.
it was 70 or
And the reason why
80.
we were able to see him run though as well as he ran is because unfortunately Christian got hurt, right? So they
Yeah,
put
yeah,
him
yeah.
in. But this is where Kyle does frustrate me. Even I understand that the CMC people defenses game plan because he's on the field. I understand that. But when you have Elijah, when you have the other young kid,
Jordan
you
Mason.
got Jordan, Mason thing. Jordan Mason, you got to put these guys in there to do their thing. Elijah got an opportunity. Elijah was moving the ball, bro. He was cutting, swinging. He was doing his thing. And you got to have this guy. One thing about Elijah, other than getting hurt, unfortunately, he's the type of cat that needs to get into his groove. He needs to start feeling himself there. And if you're not playing enough, it's hard for you to get yourself in that groove, right? What you notice, Elijah started to play more and play more and play more. He started to get the shit together, and we got to see this. Jordan Mason's a downhill runner, bro. Why aren't these cats playing? And that's the thing about Kyle and favoritism. He goes with his favorites. I'm not saying they're better than CMC,
I
but
mean,
why
McCaffrey
keep
don't
putting
want to come
miles on
out either.
CMC when you can rest them?
Yeah. Spell him
McCaffrey don't
properly
want to come.
and you'll make him last. No, I know
He literally
McCaffrey
don't
doesn't
want to
want
come
to.
out.
Yeah, but at the end of
But
the
who's
day,
the
you're the
coach?
coach. Yeah, you make the decision. You tell them you
Yeah,
have to protect
I mean,
players from themselves. Like and Kyle said this about Brock in that Ravens game because Brock wanted to go back in, and he looked at him and said, "Look, man, it's just not tonight. It happens. It is what it is, man. Everybody has shitty days. This is one of those days. Let it go." And Brock said, "All right," and went to the bench and just started understanding it. And then at the same time, like when the game is out of hand already, it's like, look, man, I got to protect you from yourself. Okay, you're not about to
yeah.
go out there and win this joint. It's
But
over already. Let's just,
the difference,
let's just move forward.
yeah, the difference of these teams compared to the old ones is we actually have a quarterback who's a legitimate leader who takes responsibility. Like, just look at
Mm-hmm.
him after the Ravens game and everything he said, and full accountability he took on
Yep.
himself and how much he needs to play
Yep.
better. Jimmy never did that. Jimmy could play like
Mm.
ass and talk about the team this, the team that. When he looked like fucking, I don't know, I can't even think, dude.
Well, okay,
Freaking,
so y'all
he
remember
looked. I
Jimmy
can't even think of how
when they would
bad.
ask
How
him
I
about
can't even think of an analogy for how bad he
yeah,
looked in
you
football.
remember
So
you remember Jimmy when they used to ask him about the interceptions, right? Yeah, that was a
Yep.
tough one. So what happened on that one? Consistent explanations of why you messed up instead of just going, I had a shitty game, bro. Happens. I got to be better about that. I can't let my teammates down. It's like that moment when they asked Zach Wilson, "Hey, you think you let the defense down?" And he said no without a thought. And next thing you know, that defense looked at him like, "That's
that's
that's
some Jimmy. That's some
Like
Jimmy G shit. Is what that was.
that was straight Jimmy G shit." It's like don't learn from that guy in that book. But honestly, man, I think this next week, if we can go ahead and get that dub with just a bunch of backups, that works for me. Because I just beating the Rams is just something that makes me smile. You know,
absolutely.
maybe I'm
Sweeping
selfish about
the
it,
West
but
2 years in a row,
I treat
it's hard to do.
sweeping the West, man, like that to me is great. Why not? But hey, if we
Do it
go into the
again.
playoffs,
Do it again for a
Can you
second year in a
imagine if we
row.
do it with our backups and they have their starters?
oh, that would be hilarious. That would
That
Dude,
be
would
that would
be
be
flat out
so
hilarious.
cool.
hilarious.
I can tell you this
That'd be
though,
great.
honestly, the only person that I would not take out, and it's just because I want Sam to have a fighting chance. I'd ask Trent to play at least fourth quarter,
Oh,
if we had all our backups,
No,
I would
no,
ask
no.
Trent to help him out for at least a little bit. Just give him
Forget
some
Sam.
time.
Get his ass killed.
Yo,
Keep Trent on the
If
sideline.
if I'm putting a
Shit.
starting offense,
get his ass
Sam, you
lineman
better
in,
run,
you
fool.
know who I'm actually putting in? You know who I'm actually putting in? If they're gonna go with him still, Spencer
Oh,
Burford.
yeah, yeah, he's gonna stay in there.
Yeah, he's
Hey,
gonna
well,
play. He's
if they
trash.
do, we talked
Let
about
him
this in
stay.
our group chat. If they do end up playing the starters, probably like first quarter or first half. That's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
don't
I
see them
think
playing
honestly,
more than a
I
half,
don't
bro.
see him playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They just, I think they're gonna want to, and Kyle's gonna be like, "Man, we got the bye week, bro. You better chill
We
out."
need to protect
Don't worry
ourselves.
about
Yeah,
This
that
is
week.
what John Lynch puts his big boy pants on. So Kyle,
Mhm.
stop being a bitch. We're not playing them. Go over there and coach the backups.
This team needs to be healthy.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. They might play.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I think is gonna happen is they'll play the first quarter, then we'll pull them.
Look what
Yeah,
happened
sit
to
down, bitch.
Chubb. 3 minutes left
I
in the
think.
game. They already had lost against the Ravens.
Yeah, like
What
they
was
should.
McDaniels keeping him in there that late? Or what's the name? That old man that's over there coaching their defense.
You
Vic
said that
Fangio.
old.
Oh, the guy that used to be for us.
Yeah.
Vic Fangio.
Vic
Vic
Van, what are you
Fangio.
doing, bro? What do you have your starter out there? And again, you can't win in 3 minutes and you still have Chubbs and Chubbs get hurt. This is what happens when you let your pride, write a check that you can't
Guys
catch.
can't
So
catch.
That's
yeah,
why. That's why I think. That's why I think the Rams have no reason to play their starters. Is
no.
you have
Mm.
freaking Stafford who gets
And
hurt.
dude,
Man.
their depth is also worse than ours. Like,
Yeah, their depth is bad, bro. If they
I'm telling you,
lose, they
it's gonna be
started.
it's gonna be the backup. They're not gonna play the starters unless it's one quarter like us. Like there's no point.
Yep.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's close it out, fellas.
Absolutely. Who wants to close that out, guys? This has been a great show.
All
we
right.
have a lot of people in, and I just
We're
want to
gonna
real
close
quick
it out with
shout out to the chat, everybody in the chat. You guys are all
Yeah,
stars.
thank
Thank you,
everybody
guys.
for coming through.
we're
Happy New
we're gonna
Year.
close it out with Brandon eating the cannoli.
This motherfucker.
Here we go.
Anyways,
Shit. That's the way you close it out, baby. Somebody got to step on somebody. Goddammit.
I'll close it out. All right. So we got the win. We clinched the 1 seed. The playoffs runs through Levis Stadium.
Brandon said he clenched his
And
butt cheek.
That's what that's why I hit the sensor. I'm like, what? Talking about butt
oh my
juice.
god. Well, anyways, Happy New Year to everybody, to all the faithful, to you
Do it
guys.
like this, Brandon.
We started off the year right, and we'll be back next week. Until next time, go Niners. Peace.
Yo,
Go,
Niners.
Brandon, go. Go, Brandon, go. Later, guys.
All right, man.
You should go get a cheer.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.